This is a first degree burn, this is a second degree, this is third degree according to old terminology. IV fluids. When do we need to give IV fluids? You have to remember this one. This is very important. Whenever you see red in a burn patient, you will definitely be sure that this is superficial epidermal burn. What is important for the exam is, first of all, we need to calculate the percentage of our body that is burned. Okay, so how do we calculate the percentage? This is the thing, Wallace's rule of nines. All right, Wallace's rule of nines, and let's have a quick glance from our PDF. Rule of 9. We have read these in our MBBS, right? Wallace's rule of nines. What is the rule of 9? Portions of our body divided in 9 percentage. So head and neck altogether 9%. Each full arm altogether 9%. Front part, back part. Total one arm is 9%. Right arm 9%, left arm 9%. So we can say the upper limb is total 18%. Head and neck 9%. Then comes the legs. Legs are a bit different from arms. Front part of one leg is 9% and back part of one leg is another 9%. So total one leg is 18%. This is different from arms. Total one arm is 9%. But in legs, you have to divide them into anterior part and posterior part. Each part comprising of 9%. So total one leg is 18%. Again, another, say for example, left leg 9% anterior, 9% posterior. Total left leg is 18%, total right leg is 18%. That means if you combine the lower limb, total lower limb is 36%. Right, correct. And if we go to our chest and abdomen, front part 18, back part 18. That is total. Chest 9%, abdomen 9%. Then our back part 18%, total 36%, and our perineum is just 1%. So you have to memorize this, and if you divide your body into different parts, it's very easy to remember. Just one difference between arm and leg. Arms have no anterior posterior part. One total arm is 9%, and legs have anterior and posterior part. Front part 9%. Back part 9%, one leg is total 18%. Okay, Wallace's rule of 9. Here you can have a pictorial representation of Wallace's rule of 9. This is head and neck, upper limbs, trunks. So now the depth of burns. This is very important. At first we have to measure the amount of body surface area burned from Wallace's rule of 9. Then we have to categorize what type of burn this patient is having. See, superficial epidermal. We know skin has mainly 3 layers. The outermost is epidermal, then dermal, then the innermost is hypodermal. So according to those layers of skin, burn can be divided into 3 parts: superficial epidermal, superficial dermal, deep dermal, and then full thickness. That means hypodermis is also involved. So you have to mention these, you have to memorize the classification of burn. Superficial epidermal, then dermal is divided again into 2 categories: superficial dermal, deep dermal, and then full thickness burn. Previously we used to say first degree, second degree, third degree. You can say first degree, second degree, third degree, but for our exam you have to memorize the new terminology, that is superficial epidermal, superficial dermal, then deep dermal, then full thickness burns. Main thing we need to memorize is this, the appearance. This is important because in the exam, in the STEM, in the question, you will be given these categories. You have to identify which type of burn the patient is having from these characteristics. So first of all, look, superficial epidermal, the first degree burn. How will you recognize this? Mainly this thing, red. Red will tell you that this is superficial or first degree burn. Nowhere in other burns you will find the word red. We will see some pictures very soon, but whenever you see red in a burn patient, you will definitely be sure that this is superficial epidermal burn. Also, you can memorize painful, but look for the word red. Now, superficial dermal. Category 2, our second degree burn, superficial dermal. How do you know this is superficial dermal? This is your word, keyword, blister. Whenever you find this word blister, you will be sure that this is a superficial dermal burn. Blister. Blister means superficial dermal. I'm just highlighting the keywords so that you don't need to memorize everything. You will just see this in the question and your memory should click that this is superficial dermal. Now we are going to move to deep dermal. How do you recognize this is deep dermal? Two things. Mainly reduced sensation and the color white. White and reduced sensation. Highlight on this, reduced sensation. Don't confuse this with loss of sensation. Reduced means it's decreased but not lost. Reduced sensation. Your stem will clearly mention that the burn patient is having some reduced sensation. Whenever you find this line, I mean these two words, you'll definitely think of deep dermal. And last of all, full thickness burn. Usually the question mentions the word full thickness. However, if they want to make it a bit more trickier, then what will they do? They will give you these characteristics. So, how do you identify full thickness burn? No pain. Highlight this word, no pain. A burnt person who has no pain, is not complaining of any pain, you will definitely be sure that this is full thickness burn. Why is there no pain? Because his nerves are also involved, deep layer of skin involved, nerves involved. How is he supposed to have pain where his nerves are burnt, nerves are damaged? No pain means full thickness burn. So, first degree, second degree, third degree is our old terminology. New terminology is superficial epidermal, then dermal, then full thickness. How do you recognize? These are the keywords. If a stem mentions that a person having red raw skin, that is what? That is superficial dermal, first degree burn. If a stem mentions patient with burn having blisters, how do you say? What do you say? This is superficial dermal. Patient having reduced sensation, deep dermal. Patient having no pain at all but he is burned. What is that? That is our full thickness burn. So these questions do appear in the exam where you need to classify or categorize the extent of burn. Let me tell you one stem, a short stem. A boy who was burned 2 hours ago from a gas stove, having red raw skin without any blisters. What do you think? What is the extent of the burn?